Hello, hello, hello. It's your new day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one. And maybe it's yours. In our 30 minutes, we talk about your emotions and mind and how they tie into your body and spirit. We want you to renew and restore yourself in a world that wants you crazy. And sometimes we even talk about money. Introducing your hosts, Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen. Hello, hello, hello. This is Donna Reiners. Dr. Cami. And we're so glad to be here with you. And today's show is on listening and hearing, and also on when you aren't looking for something and all of a sudden you're being spoken to. I have been walking in a place in life where I was hearing from the divine with intention for probably 30 plus years, where I knew what was happening versus before I didn't understand. And I was always a dreamer, like every day dreaming. And I have another friend like that. And then I had a lot of frequency work done on myself. And I stopped dreaming as much. And I realized a lot of those dreams were really soulish and I didn't know. You know, we want to hear from God. We want to hear from the Lord inside of us. And sometimes, no offense, we can conjure up things to hear from yourself with. And there were some of those things, I got warnings on things. I got some things that were almost terrifying at times. And then once I pulled out the fear, once I pulled out things like that, trauma and things of that nature, I went a couple years not hearing anything. Mm-hmm. And then when I started hearing again, it was much more directional. There's much more clarity attached to it. And I didn't need to go to somebody necessarily to get an interpretation. Mm-hmm. First, before it kind of came with, man, what is this? And so spending time listening and hearing what's inside of you, I think can bring you to a place where you can understand what's happening inside of you. And it doesn't mean we don't ask others. I just asked someone the other day, I said, I feel like I understand what this means, but I appreciate your insight. Mm-hmm. Because this person has a great understanding of who they are, why they're on the planet, what they're doing on the planet. Mm-hmm. And people like that can bring you some clarity when versus someone who just is a dream interpreter. Mm-hmm. Looking at their symbols. I'd rather talk to someone who knows their identity for insight. So and this was their response. Well, let me meditate on it. It wasn't, well, I think it exists. He said, I'll spend some time in meditation. I'll let you know if I get something. I said, now that I can go with, because that's someone who's going to want to hear from the divine to see if there's insight I don't already have. So I've had several encounters. A couple have been having to do with work. A couple have had to do with identity. One was just a correction for me to remember that my heart is that you're forgiven. I mean, it was literally a dream that I know had to do with the show. And it was just a little, hey, Donna, remember, you have a message of unconditional forgiveness, unconditional love. So that's my heart and my bold confidence for you. And hearing from the one who lives inside of you is the one who tells you what the message you have and the direction you take that has the most influence and most power, so that you're bearing fruit on the planet, not just willy-nilly. What about you? Do you have things that happen to you? You're like, oh, this is what's going on. What happens with your inside life?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. It's interesting. I can't remember if we talked about this on the show before, but how things occur in front of me all the time. Have we talked about that on the show? Like,
I think it was briefly, not on purpose.
Like emergencies happen in front of me.
Yeah.
We talked about it. And I think it showed up again during the hurricane. I think that's when we talked about it. So I do think we talked about it. But things coming in our path where we can make a difference or not make a difference, whether we step up and walk towards our calling we're supposed to be doing or shy away from it. And there's been times I shy away from it, and I think I've been going through that for the last year or so of shying away instead of walking towards what I already know that I need to be doing.
Boy, you and I are on the same track and different things.
Yes.
And Lord Jesus help.
So looking at like that the little part of me, that part of me, the thinking part of me that has all the consideration and all the fears and all the what the hell are you thinking about, all that that lives in all of us, it's a girl or a guy, saying, who are you to be so grand, who are you to be all you can be.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah, who do you think you are? Yeah, and I'm pretty solid in who I am now, but am I fully expressed into who I actually know I am? Nope. And why is that? So I've been really asking those questions. Why is that? Why am I muting myself? Why am I keeping my own hand down? Nobody's suppressing me. I'm suppressing. I know this, and being afraid. There is some fear there, and what what if I fully unleash what I know is inside of me? What is that going to do to my world? Because I know there's a lot of people that won't be able to be with that. It would be a lot. I'm already a lot. I'm a lot to people. But if I fully express the power that's in me, it's in all of us. It's not just me. I'm not special. But being really connected to that power, being connected to that divineness, to that divinity, that welcoming it in, and without any edits, without any stops, just let it open. That's it knowing the power and feeling it, like feeling it way down deep, the power of that. There's a fear to that I've been afraid to blow my life up because I know it's going to blow my life up in a magnificent way. I know that too. And that part of me that's like afraid of, who do you think you are? Why do you think you deserve that? Because that's all the programming that's been put in for my entire life, and all the ancestral stuff that's programmed in there. Like, who do you think you are to be great? Who do I think I am not to be great?
Yeah.
Like we're all great because we are, we have that divinity in us. We are designed to be great. And we forgot that we're designed to be great. I remember I'm designed to be great. Now, I have that intention to be great. Now it's time to materialize that. And the materialization process is what is a little scary. That I know it's given me pause, because even in my clinic, there's times, like something will happen, I'll say something, and we'll just blow up and get a whole bunch of clients coming in, and then we implode. We can't manage it. Things get dropped, things get, because it's just like all at once. But it also reveals to me, okay, this is what's missing, so put that in place. Okay, then I have another example, and then, okay, this is what's missing, put that in place. So I know that I've been on that journey for the last 6 months or so of seeing what's missing, not like what's wrong, what's missing.
Yeah.
That if it's there, will make a difference. And that's what I've been on this journey doing right now in this 3D world of helping people, because there's a shift coming. I don't know if I can articulate it, but it's coming. It's actually, there's something big happening this weekend, but I'm not going to really speak on that. But it's all good, not bad. It's all good. But when the shift happens, it's like the sliding door, and it's off track, and you and then something happens and the track gets cleaned all of a sudden. but you're used to coming up and going, and then it's been clean, and all of a sudden you go and you like slam it. You don't mean to slam it. You have all this power. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. And so people are going to be disjointed by that. There's a lot of people that's going to be disjointed because what I see coming is full accountability for your choices, for your thoughts, for your um, alignment, where you're, what's yours and what's not yours, and what you're blaming others for versus what you've created, and being really accountable for your own creation. That is going to be in such powerful uh,
The word comes high
transmission.
demand comes for some reason.
Yes.
High demand to get in this alignment.
Yes, and that if you're not, it's going to be in your face where you cannot not see it. So that's what I see happening, like this weekend. Like there's the shift is happening, and so it's going to be even more chaotic. I believe that the world is going to get more chaotic, not in a bad way, not in a good way, just more chaotic, because people are going to keep getting examples of what is outside of them, what they align with, what they don't align with. It's going to be not, uh, there's going to be no gray here. It's going to be, that's yours, and you need to deal with you. That's yours. I'm going to love you while you deal with that over there. And I don't know how else to articulate this.
That's perfect.
It's very powerful.
It's a call to come into peace, PEACE.
Yes.
A call to pick up your own pieces and put them where they're supposed to
Yes.
be.
Yes.
And a call to take the pieces that are not supposed to be and oust them, hand them to whoever they're supposed to be, or put them in the trash if they got to go.
They're going to go back to wherever they're supposed to go, and just getting really clear on what's yours, in this, this separation of identity, even though we're all together. But what's over there, what's over here, what are you projecting over there that's really just a mirror right back to you, and seeing the mirror, I think, is the biggest thing that I see, is people being able to see the mirror for what it is. It's a reflection right back to you of the pieces that are so missing that you have to go collect.
That's good. Even the encounter he had, Craig looked at me and he said, that was the mirror reflecting back to you. That's what he told me.
And that's a good litmus test always. It's always been that way, but it's so bright right now that these people that they get in these fights over silly stuff, and oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. The things that you can't be with somebody else, that just ticks you off about that person, is you. It's something in you that you cannot remember about yourself, that your divineness is saying, you need to handle this. So I think that's why everybody's so activated right now, because it's required for them to see that part of them so that they can heal it. Because this is the time. Like, it is now. The time is now. It's really only now, but like really, the time is now. So as you see things ramp up more in the coming days, weeks, especially 2024, I said this 5 years ago, is into 23 and through 24 is going to be a big shift, and it's going to get crazier than we ever could imagine it could get. And I think we've seen a lot of crazy, but there's more to come. And I just want you to know that there's no necessary. It's not necessary to be fearful. It's not necessary to be worried. What's necessary is for you to look inward and clean your house. It's spring cleaning.
Personal alignment.
Yes.
A call for personal alignment.
Yes. What is you? What is something you align with? So something that is deep in there that you align with, not what you've been told that you're supposed to be aligned with, not what you've been taught, not what it's been beat into you, but like really, what does that align with me? Like, strip everything off. It's just me and nobody else on the planet. Does that align with me? If it's a yes, bring it in. If it's a no, hand it over there and give it back to the universe, and the universe can take it.
No, I had I don't think it's a warning. You know, we don't like to be corrected, but how God likes to correct us. But I had an encounter recently where it did show that out of ignorance, I had placed my mantle down and my mantle and my message. And when I came to, I went back and got it. So it basically was showing me these several different things, decisions that I've been making. And yet at the end of the day, it started with my calling and it ended with my calling. And I'll tell you how the dream ended. Fascinating. I was standing with these two little boys. You dream interpreters, you go to town, don't care. I'm standing with these two young boys, and they were probably 10, 11. And one of them said, "But what if you murder somebody?" You know, and the other kid's like, "Well, then that's just, you're out of here." And my heart was full. Well, wait, no, that's not true. You have already been forgiven even for that. So this is the depth of the forgiveness of God. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've been accused of, that God forgave you long before it ever took place. Feeling guilty, feeling condemned over it, criticizing yourself for the next 30 years over something that you can't change, it's not going to change it. But you seeing the goodness of God that lives inside of you, that's always been telling you, "Hey, you're okay. I'm okay. You're okay. I'm okay. We're together, and I'm with you, and I'll never leave you, and I'll never forsake you, and I've never left you, and I've never forsaken you. Even in the midst of all your mess, I've still been in there. Now I want to make you a message." That's the one. That's the one you lean into for truth. That's the one you lean into for alignment. That's the one you lean into for this consciousness thing that we're talking about. So I encourage you to just take the time, take a moment in your busy world. If you're a mom and you're looking at this at 2 o'clock in the morning because it's the only time you have yourself, you know, and I know moms, even to go to the bathroom, it's the first time the kids show up at the door. Mom, I'm in the bathroom. You know, they didn't want to talk to them 10 minutes early when they're out in the open, but no, when you're in quiet. So whatever you need to do to have some quiet, even if it's 60 seconds at a time. But then there are some of you that you could get quiet, but you just don't. You stay on your social media, you stay busy, and I call that runaway. You're on constant runaway because you don't want to come back into youth. You don't want to face you. You don't want to know what you already know because you don't want to be accountable because you are so terrified of the mistakes that will come with the action you take, or the persecution or what you think is persecution will come if you truly become all you're supposed to be, like the army. You know, I think that's part of me not really coming full on, full out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I just said, that is what I believe. I do believe we are all, every human being, even Hitler, go ahead. I believe all of us have already been forgiven. That was the grace message of Paul.
Yes.
That Paul, when he disappeared for I think one was 3 or 4 years, and another was 14 years. Sorry for you Bible thumpers who think I need to know that exact, don't care. But when he disappeared to chew on, oh my God, did I just hear that? I mean, Paul, from killer to lover. The killer man was still going, "What the heck is happening? What is this message I'm hearing? What are you saying to me?" He had to disappear for a while just to really come to the clarity. Are you kidding me? You mean it's everybody? What? I think that's what blew his mind. And then when he went to hold himself accountable to the people that already come to know God, Christ in that way before he had, they're like, "Oh yeah, we heard the same thing." And then that's the message they carried. That's what they took out to the four corners of the world of that time, those four corners. versus you think you have to go to the four corners of the world now because of the world. We're giving the world this gospel message that says you got to say yes to the dress, or you're going to burn in hell. I'm just saying that is not my belief system. I believe we're all in the club. Why? Because we've always been in the club. And we're in the club now, and we return to the club because there's nothing outside of the club, because God is the club. That's what I truly, truly believe. That is the strength of my belief. And this little place on this TV channel, where we don't have big viewers yet, this is where I'm releasing it. Have I released it on my global platforms? I have not, but I will be putting this on YouTube eventually. And eventually to make it into the hands of people that need to hear that you're already forgiven. Listen, people say, well, if you think you're already forgiven, then you'll just mess up even more. You'll just, they call it in the Bible, you'll just, take sin for granted. You'll just sin on purpose. Absolutely not. That's the message of love. The message of love is what causes you to restrain yourself. You're like, oh no. And eventually, when you receive more and more and more and more and more and more, receive, not just give, but receive, the more you receive, the more you see who already lives inside of you, the more love you're connected with on the side of you. And I believe that's also the place that's not ruled by gravity.
Yes.
That is that love. The more you really become one with that, the less it even comes to your mind to do something that would not be cool.
Love and hate can't exist in the same place. The higher frequency of love will just absorb the hate. So they can't exist in the same place.
Right.
So that doesn't even make sense in this 3D world, that you could be in unconditional love and have the grace of God and forgiveness in all walks of your being. And when you get there and really get that, like,
it's still gonna stab somebody.
They don't exist in the same place. You can't be up and down at the same time unless your superposition does it.
Anyway, it's
quantum physics humor.
And quantum physics, and quantum is love too.
Yes.
We were going to talk about science and that kind of thing, but honestly, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It was the chicken with the egg inside of them. I'm like,
and the ability to make more eggs.
Yeah. It's pretty simple, pretty easy.
And the ultimate message is that we are that high frequency being already, and we're trying to stuff as much light in these little bodies as we can, and that's kind of the game. It's kind of just a game. That's how I see it. It's kind of a game, and we're just playing it. So you can play it well, or you can play it, however your strategy is, how you want to play it. But make no mistake of playing it, whether you are aware you're playing it or not. That's one of my terms I say in joking all the time is, we're playing a game, just play it better. Play it better for you. Play it better for the people around you. What game are you playing? Because it is a game.
What's the name of that lady I love to listen to? Francine Scovel. She has, she's been, I'm sure, dead a long time, but she used the Bible, but she was all about frequency and all about love and all about the game. And she has one called The Game of Life. You can find it on YouTube. Fascinating. You can find it, you can hear voices read it for free on YouTube, or you can get it on Audible. I have some cool stuff. And it just reminds you your intention and where she's talking about placing your focus. Those are very important things. And if you, I'm not talking about place your focus on, I gotta get up, go to work. But if your focus is on knowing that you belong to God and God belongs to you and God lives inside of you and you live inside of God, that means love lives in you, that you are made from love. If you would remind yourself every day, wait, I live from love. I'm not just receiving love, but I already live from love, that I already live from light, that I am made of light, I am made of love, that you're already made of that. and go from there. Let that be your foundation instead of your trauma. Reframe your issues. I mean, we all know what it's like to go and try to figure out what the root systems are and all that jazz. And I'm all for that stuff. I love to do that because it's very revealing. But even in doing that, I'm still coming from a place of love when I even look for something that shouldn't be there. So I can,
or should it be there? It's part of the lesson that we have to get to.
maybe, yeah, that is definitely what I would say, that there are some things that happen that were not divinely planted. They were our stupidity in some cases, and sometimes there are things. For instance, I can recall several, but one in particular I remember. Just so many, but I remember knowing I was not supposed to leave the house to go meet my friend shopping. I knew. She asked me, I'm like, no, I don't want to go out in that traffic. But it was the inside. No, I don't want to go out in that Christmas traffic. I'm not a fool. I don't want to do that. That's crazy. This is years ago. And sure enough, I got in a head-on a collision, whirled my car around. It was literally a setup. It would have been set up for somebody else, but I got in the midst of the setup. So was that God telling me, or was that my consciousness knowing, hey, listen, there's things where you're headed, they're not going to be cool. So I listened, I knew, I said no, and then for the next year, I was in a battle. So I don't believe that was something I needed to do, but it's something I chose to do because I said no to the divine inside that was leading me in a different way. That's what I believe for me personally. We have 30 seconds?
I'm saying about the same thing because it's about the choices.
Mm-hmm.
And the choices, are you led by what's inside, or are you led by something outside of you? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And if you keep making choices that are led outside of you, it's not going to go well.
And I led into her influence. I said, okay, fine, I'll go.
Yeah.
And that was what caused the issue. Anyway, we got to go. We're glad we're here. I hope you get something from these things that we do with you, because we just want you to hear from the divine and know that you're loved and you're forgiven.
Thank you for joining Your New Day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cammie Owen. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. Until then.